You're about to find out how to stop relying on word of mouth
and add an additional 2 to 4 megawatts of commercial solar installs per year on a results-driven basis.
Before we share the secret, let's talk about why you're not already getting these results.
Having scaled dozens of commercial solar companies, we have found 3 key reasons why they're not scaling in these current market conditions.
They're BDs or SDRs wasting countless hours trying to do one-to-one emails and one-to-one prospecting, which just isn't getting the results that you want.
Relying too heavily on word of mouth to drive the sales and growth out of the business.
And last but not least, wasting your precious time on tire kickers that might not even want a quote from you guys.
Now imagine this, having an extra 2 million in top line revenue with a predictable and scalable lead source.
You wouldn't need to worry about where the next install is coming from ever again.
But don't take our word for it. Listen to our clients who have generated millions in top line revenue.
When we get an email from you, I don't think about to ask you guys a question. It's just, and then what I also love about you guys as well, you book my appointments, you book the meetings. It's so easy.
What would you say the sort of lead flow is week to week at the minute?
Oh, amazing. You know, we get excited. My team get excited when we hear TNW because don't get me wrong, we do work with other people, not in a similar way, but in a different way. I have a whole network, I have agents, I have people on the road. But with the other people, there's always something missing. It could be something simple like an email address or who they are or where is the building. When we get an email from you, I don't think about to ask you guys a question. Oh, it's amazing. I mean, some of the deals are quite significant. I mean, I'm sure I don't want to discuss it with client names and stuff like that. Some of them are ranging from 250 grand upwards. I mean, there's a 1 or 2 which are nearly hitting the million pound mark. But even the small ones, don't get me wrong. I mean, I have a full team. We cater for domestic, the commercial and utility. Even the smaller ones, you're looking at 30, 40,000 pounds, which is an amazing return for what we're spending with you guys. So I'm quite happy.
23. They're producing high quality leads to me on a daily basis. Approximately about 3,000, which is sort of 220 a month. That equates to roughly.
You ever worked with any other like external agencies or hired in?
So yeah, no, there is. I think I kind of know the market. So one of our installer subsidiaries has used lead generation before. So and it was rubbish. It was multiple selling multiple leads, and yeah, it was just garbage, unqualified. Yeah, rubbish. So to be, bluntly honest, we approached TNW with caution because it's like previously lead generation companies have been a letdown, and that hasn't been the case with TNW. It's very much more qualified, targeted, specific. It's much more collaborative. You're not just getting a lead and then selling it to a load of different people in a race to the bottom. It's much more akin to having an in-house team than an external lead generation company.
And what would you say like the average sort of size of the jobs that we sort of got in the pipeline?
Well, it's ranged, doesn't it? Really, from anywhere from sort of 50 kilowatts going up to the 2 megawatts. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's an average, but it definitely has ranged. A 2 megawatt site. It's gonna be a quite big site as it's got I think 9 meters on site. So yeah, there's in terms of work, it's going to be a good sort of 6 months worth of work on that site.
Yeah, I think it's pretty insane how that came from just a small little email that I sent to the founder, and then we sort of nurtured into a conversation to get you on call, and then it sort of turned into all of this going on. So I think that's pretty cool to think about.
Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with sort of building up a relationship with the customer as well, isn't it, at the end of the day?
What would you say the sort of quality of the leads that we're producing you are?
Out of 10, 12. Yeah, no, I've been really good. Obviously, we've only just started the campaign this week and sat meetings with NHS, which is massive. And some other couple of companies. I think 3 appointments this week in the first week of the campaign. Every appointment sat. So yeah, no complaints whatsoever. Lead quality really strong.
What would you say is the sort of average deal value that we're bringing to the table at the minute, based on the lead profiles that we're sending in for next week, and then what we've sent in already, and conversations we've had?
I'd say around averaging the 3 leads out I'd say around 600k.
Just want to give a big shout out to my friend and partner Roman that owns TNW Agency. I've worked with Roman and his team for the past 90 days, and just want to say that when I started working with him, I was barely making $7,000-8,000 a month. And then when we start actually running his funnel and lead generation system strategy, we just start crushing on the first month, fucking $20,000 in cash collected. So that means like $30,000 to $35,000 in sales, and then the second month as well, and then the third month as well. So his process is pretty clear, pretty consistent. And if I had only one thing to say about Roman and his marketing agency, is that just go fucking all in.
So my name's Brad Burton. For 20 years I have been in business, running businesses, and I can tell you something right now. What Roman and Dan do is pretty special. Like, genuinely, I always say this to people. I say, is there a way that if you spent £1,000 you get £1,001 back? If so, let's go. This has been the first thing that I can say, honestly, in probably 15 years, that has got more back than it's cost. Do I recommend Roman and Dan, the Next Wave marketing? Yes, I absolutely do.
They over-delivered at every given opportunity and managed to kind of double our income over that time period.
And the right people. What is interesting is the sheer volume that some of these people have. Like one of the clients you've given us today, he's like, I did the design against the postcode that was delivered, got to speak to him, it's the wrong building. Well, it's not the first time I've done that. So that's fine. But then he says, I don't actually want it on that building because it's a leasehold. I'm just about to go into my spiel about, well, minimum energy efficiency standards, freehold leaseholds, all the rest of it. He says, but I've got 6 other that we do own, and I've got an 18-acre field. Yeah. And you're like, okay, great, let's have a chat about that.
Sort of quality of the leads that we produced, how would you sort of rate it in comparison to other agencies or SDRs or lead producers that you've ever worked with in the past?
So the quality of your lead is very good because you put a lot of time and effort into it before it arrives to me at your customers. And the other thing as well is obviously, in terms of paying for it, I'm paying at the point where I get a set appointment. So your customer support and your support in pushing and getting the appointments booked and such like is very good, and follow-up appointments and checking is everything booked in and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very good.
Obviously the leads we're getting from you guys at TNW, we're getting some really, really good feedback. We were a bit wary at first, we were a bit cautious when you're parting with your hard-earned cash. But I think today, in the last sort of 2 weeks, we've had 6 to 8 leads from you guys. And so far of those, we've got at least 4 that we think will proceed to an installation at some point within the next 6 months. The largest so far is looking at our 1.5 megawatts. So in terms of sort of pound and pence, without me pulling up the quote, it's something along the lines of 1.2 million pounds. We've got another job, which is just in design now with a major printing company.
And would you say the way we sort of go about it is a bit different to other agencies, like as in less lower quality but more like higher quality when it comes to the commercial side of things?
Yeah, so it's been really great working with you guys so far. One thing that I found that's been really great working with you guys is one is the communication. You guys are very communicative with both us and our clients, which is really important. And then also I would say representing the brand and the professionalism you guys bring. All of the clients we've spoken to have had very positive feedback about you guys and what you're representing. So for us,
what sort of, without breaching any sort of like privacy or anything like that with the leads, what sort of deal size and notes would you have about the sort of commercial leads we're bringing in? Yeah,
I mean, so far it's been a broad spectrum. Our company covers anything from small, medium-sized commercial. We don't really want to turn down any good opportunities where clients are interested and want to make the shift or change to getting solar installed. So, I mean, on the small end, I would say deals of 100,000 to 500,000, but a very good portion of the leads you guys have provided so far have been upwards of, $1 million projects all the way up to $5 million asset purchases for these commercial clients.
Would you sort of recommend us to other installers in different areas to get a more consistent flow of work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, you guys have been very professional, high level of trust in working with you guys, and the communication's always on point. So, I wholeheartedly, recommend you guys to any commercial solar company, that are, growing across the U.S. or even in other countries as well. I mean, really, you guys can apply a lot of the same principles to wherever the service area is.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Sean.
In the past 9 months of this year alone, we've generated over 143 megawatts in commercial solar opportunities.
And we've put our clients in front of household names such as Morrison's, Tesco's, Menzies Distribution, Royal Mail, Ocado, Rolls-Royce, Lotus Supercars and Lowe's, just to name a few.
Now you're probably thinking, who are these guys? I'm Roman.
I'm Dan. And we've spent the last 2 years specialising and focusing on blasting the absolute lid of your commercial pipeline, bringing new opportunities, pouring in on a weekly basis.
We have dealt with so many installers that have been exactly where you are now, and trust me when I say we know how hard it is to generate consistent commercial opportunities.
Everything we do for our installers has been battle tested and proven to work, even with brand new commercial solar installers with zero social proof.
By working together, you'll be able to
fill your pipeline with qualified customers consistently,
increase your closure rate,
generate more revenue,
predictably scale your renewables company,
and spend more time doing higher ROI activities.
You do have another option though.
Pretend like you never watched this video
and continue to get your current results.
But what will happen if you carry on down the path you are on right now?
However, you now know that there's another way, a way to stop relying on word of mouth
and add an additional 2 to 4 megawatts in commercial solar opportunities per year on a pay on results driven basis.
The next step is simple. Book your 20-minute free consultation call below.
And at the very least, you're going to walk away with some actionable insights on how you can improve your commercial deal flow.
Click that button below and get yourself booked in.